Yeah, it didn't exactly comfort me to realize that the records are all broken by Clint Eastwood's American Sniper over the weekend, and I see Michael Moore has already kind of stepped in it with the right, because he had a relative who was killed by a sniper, and he talked about how they're the cowards that shoot people in the back. So Michael will be looking for a new home in Canada. And
a couple more bodyguards.
He just doesn't pull punches, does he?
Well, he said, I wasn't talking about the movie. Well, it seems odd. It came up on the same weekend the movie opened. One 140-character tweet can get you into lots of hot water if you're not careful.
Especially when Michael tweets.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see. That's going to be quite
But just for his sort of aggrandizement, he spoke for nothing at MSU.
compared to George Will at 47.5.
Mm-hmm.
We
Big
were
difference.
talking about that. We are also talking with Sally Powder of the 10-Pound Fiddle, and we were talking about how there are many of us who make less than that in a year at MSU, and George comes in a day. And
1 hour.
Less
than an hour. Probably 40 minutes he spoke.
And I have a hunch it's a speech that he's done before and just tweaked. You know, it's kind of like, hello Cleveland, hello East Lansing. One of those. So.
Where am I again?
Where am I again? Mm-hmm. And Michael did speak for nothing.
Yep, and so did the president of the University of Virginia. Now, they got expenses. Michael probably didn't take any expenses because
all he had to do was drive to Torch Lake. Yeah. So. From that multi-million-dollar home that hasn't gotten him a good press either. Makes life complicated. Oh, God. I guess his dock is next to Madonna's. I guess it's been a long time since I've been to Torch Lake.
I have to picture it.
There's a lot of money up there.
Oh, there is.
It's money that came in long after I ever went up there. I used to go up there when I was younger, up to Torch Lake. I think it's a much different vibe up at Torch Lake now.
They got all the houses that you saw have been destroyed.
Bulldozed away.
Put the houses 8 times bigger now.
That's what I figured. Yeah, Michigan is becoming one of those.
Yeah, especially the western part of the state.
Well, let's segue into something cheerier here because we have an upcoming event, not this coming weekend, but the weekend afterwards. On Friday and Saturday night, 10-Pound Fiddle is holding its midwinter singing festival, and Sally's going to tell us a little bit about how that works for people like me who cannot carry a tune in a bucket. Should we still show up?
Yes, because there are 500 people there singing, and you will be drowned out.
Good.
How's that? Let's just cut to the chase.
I was the only kid in 8th grade choir where the choir master came over and said, "Would you just move your lips?"
There are so many horror stories like that.
I did that.
There are so many horror stories.
Most of the time I was there just to stand there and...
Pretty face. There we go.
Yep.
Well, as this is the 13th year and of the singing festival, and every year, anecdotally you hear these stories. I really, don't like to sing, but I like to sing, but I was told not to sing. I was told to mouth it, and really, with 450, 500 people in the room, both Friday and Saturday nights, it doesn't matter because the other 400 are really good singers, and they will drown you out.
They will drown you out.
It's powerful. The sound is full. The sound has harmonies. People can make up whatever they want. We have song leaders on the stage.
Yeah. So
on Friday night this year, we'll have Mark Dvorak from Chicago and Joel Mavis from here, and Frank Youngman, who's a Michigan favorite.
Who's also a permaculture guy.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
And Ann Hills, who grew up in Benton Harbor, spent time in Chicago, now lives in Pennsylvania, but she's well known to Michigan people. The key is all 4 of these people, and Dan Chenard on Saturday night, they know how to song lead.
So that's a skill in itself.
Oh, it's much harder than performing. Much.
Really?
Much. You have to give it up. It's not about you.
Oh, it's not about you.
It's not about you, it's about the song.
Well, do you find certain voices in the audience that you can hear that are great and you kind of encourage them? Or how do you,
there is not a problem encouraging anybody to sing. By the second note, you have
really
500 people singing. It's powerful. It's like a huge church service singing not necessarily church songs, but a lot of songs are gospel.
We atheists don't know about that either. We have never been in large groups of people that sing. So.
Well, there you go. But a lot of us have, for one reason or another. Big choirs, the all-state choirs that people go to, or the big church choirs, or the high school choirs. But this is informal. We don't even give you the music.
What? Really?
Because you already know the song. You know how it goes.
Not even the lyrics?
We give you the lyrics.
Oh, okay.
So we will give you the third verse, but you know how Beatles songs go. You know
Yes.
how Motown goes. You know how Peter, Paul, and Mary songs go. You know the tunes. So somebody picks it, they start it in whatever key. You don't even know what the key is. They're just starting to sing. By the third note, you're like, oh, okay. And then you look down, you go, I know that verse. And you look up and you hear that big sound.
500 people, that's amazing.
Friday night, and then another 500 with Dan Chenard on Saturday. And Dan Chenard is from Minneapolis. He writes his own musicals.
Interesting.
He is a piano player for Prairie Home. He decided to have a
That's why I
singing
recognize the
night.
name, yeah.
He decided to have a singing night at the Fitzgerald, 800 seats, Prairie Homes, and he sold it out. Because the Twin Cities know Dan Chenard. He plays on jazz albums, on folk albums. He goes on Prairie Homes cruises. He is a piano player in the Mediterranean when Garrison and 2,000 of his closest friends take a Prairie Home Companion cruise. Dan Chenard can play anything in any key. He knows all the verses. He puts together programs. He runs a couple monthly sings up in Minneapolis, one with Ann Reed. Every musicians and people who love live music in the Twin Cities know, and Wisconsin, know Dan Chenard. And so he's coming over, and he's going to sit at a big grand piano on the Hannah Center stage.
Wow.
And he's going to bring his accordion, and he's just going to play. We're going to sing.
This is the biggest music event, isn't it, in the community, probably?
No.
Yes.
Music event?
Well, where
Participatory.
Participatory,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I am sure that larger churches will have big events where people sing a lot. All about singing. No one's gonna save the whales. No one's gonna tell you anything else.
We're not going to save the whales?
Well, not tonight. We're just gonna sing. We're just gonna sing. And
why does singing make people happy?
because it's physical.
You know, and it isn't always happiness. I saw you sing beautifully at Anita Poe's memorial, and you sang a cappella. And there's something just so beautiful and authentic and true about a single human voice memorializing somebody's life. I mean, I thought it was one of those really special moments. I think that's why we have to have
I
those.
knew Anita, and
Yeah,
that makes it even more real, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people do connect. I mean, it's an emotional thing. You know, music, I keep trying to tell my students, you know, in the Intro to Mass Media class that all the other mass media, I mean, if you're reading a book, those little prefrontal lobes are just singing in front, being critical and saying, I don't blame that, I don't know. But boy, once you hear music, it goes straight into that reptilian brain and you just are...
Now, imagine songs that you love or songs you know, and somebody gives you the lyrics, and the people in the front aren't going to talk, and they're not going to talk about themselves, and where they've been or where they're going, and when I recorded this. No. There is no ego in the room at all. Hey, they might say, I learned this from my grandfather, and I bet you did too. Let's sing it. And all of a sudden, you're off and running.
Yeah.
Right now I'm reading a book on the origin of House of the Rising Sun. By an ethnomusicologist. I just started it last night. I love those kind of books.
Yeah.
We've sung that in 13 years. We've sung that a couple times.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's a really interesting, and you know, they delve into early Britain and where it came out of there and things. But that's
Because
a song. That's a sing along.
I'm sure it is. And it's a sing along because we all know
Yeah,
it.
there is a house.
And even if we don't know it, if you can catch on soon enough, you're in.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, there are like 4 verses. You're in.
So now, where is this going to be held?
This is the Hannah Center.
This is the Hannah Center. That's right
the
there
revamped
on
middle
Abbott.
School. Abbott, 800 block of Abbott, almost to
Yeah.
Grove Street, almost to the library.
Right across the street from the library. And that's going to be on Friday night and then again on Saturday. So that is this 2-day event.
This is a 2-day. This is Friday night with the 4 song leaders. And the second half of that evening, actually, is subtitled "Songs That Pete Taught Us."
And we all know who Pete is going to be.
It's going to be loaded with.
Well, that's the next book I start. Is the origin of this land is your land.
There we go.
You know, but I mean, he didn't write it. But
No, but
Yeah.
you know,
he sang it.
But he and Woody hung out together for a couple of years. So that'll be a pretty
Have to do big money.
pretty loaded, emotional evening, and then Dan comes in and plays show tunes and pop tunes and other kind of. So it's 2 different kinds of nights, but the evenings are 8 o'clock, and in the Hannah Center, and then during the day there's a free children's concert at 11 o'clock with Mark Dvorak from Chicago. He's one of the best, period, with kids. And then in the afternoon there are 7 one-hour singing workshops. You get a $10 wristband. Students are free. $10 wristband, and you can go into any room you want to. You can play 2-chord songs with Joel Mabus.
Wow.
You can have a spontaneous folk ensemble with Mark Dvorak. You can sing gospel and old-time songs with Mark Palms of the Raisin Pickers. You can do Great American Standards with Mary Sue Wilkinson. So you can be part of a festival choir with Rachel Alexander. From 3 to 4 in the afternoon, you're going to hang out on stage with the piano with Dan and Rachel, and you're going to learn This Train is Bound for Glory. This train, 2 parts. 2 parts. You'll get the music, but she'll bang it out for you. And then the beginning of the second set Saturday night, everybody in that workshop will just be up on stage. And we'll start out with their song, but everybody is very welcome to join in as well.
Now, the appeal to kids, I see that you have a program I had not heard about before called Fiddle Scouts.
The 10-Pound Fiddle is the umbrella organization, and they produce the singing festival, they produce concerts, they produce dances. Once a month, they produce the Fiddle Scouts.
Are these a lot of Suzuki kids who get excited about fiddle?
There are Suzuki kids, but the Fiddle Scout part is just about the 10-pound fiddle. But every month, a different person shows up. I see. We did holiday songs in December. We did drumming in September. We like little kids wrote songs on the fly with Dave Butet. Interactive games with musical beanbags and different noisemakers with Carrie Quisenberry. So a different person is booked every month to come in and play music with 50 or 60 kids. Most of them are under 5.
Oh my goodness.
So 0 to 5 and then 6 to 10. And then this year, this is our 3rd year, we added the Fiddle Scout Jamboree. So any Suzuki kid who can play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, they go off with Chris Hamilton, a very talented guy, works at Elderly. And Chris shows them how to play together.
Oh, that's
shows
cool.
them how to jam, shows them how to change chords, shows them how to change keys. So the Fiddle Scout Jamboree actually is going to be the dance band for February's Valentine's Day family dance.
How cool.
So there's sort of a way that a kid can start with this music very informally. I mean, there are no badges. Nobody has to sew on a badge or do a little, there's no book, right? You just show up and you play. Your parents put a couple bucks in a jar, and then you come back next month.
Wow, that's great.
That's pretty cool. Do we teach music in schools anymore?
Not very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a setup question.
Yes, it was.
I knew the
I'm not
answer.
sure Lansing does much at all.
Not very much.
It's starting to affect the suburbs where I teach. It's affecting.
Yeah. Even though I couldn't sing or shouldn't have sang, it was fun to be involved in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Big citywide sings and things.
It kinks your brain in a way that can't be done any other way. And the association with all the other types of learning is so dramatic that you think we would be investing a lot in that.
Well, music and math, for one.
Yeah, that's the automatic one.
Yeah, and I remember senior year, speaking of math, the advanced math teacher said, "Why aren't you in math?" And I said, "Well, because choir is the same hour. It's a little high school. It was a little high school." And they said, "Well, you need math." And I said, "Well, they'll have math in college, but they're not going to have my friend's 3rd hour."
Yeah.
And so that was everything. Yeah. I just got to get to choir.
Yeah.
And then I got to get to basketball practice after school, and the day was okay.
I need to go get her.
Oh, the ex-guest, I see what she's signaling me. You've got, I just want to talk about this because I'm very excited about it. Peter Yarrow is coming. See, I want to yell that from the sky.
Peter Yarrow!
I love Peter, Paul, and Mary. Now, what date is that? I'm looking
March
for really...
6th at the Hannah Center.
Okay, are there tickets still
There
available?
are tickets online. I know I can't do the number, the price, but they are cheaper than anywhere else you'll find.
Yeah,
How's that?
I can understand that.
We can't even say if anything's free. We will probably get.
Oh, I'm sorry, but there's a price for the floor, and there's a price for the balcony, and there's a student price that is incredibly attractive. And all that information is at 10poundfiddle, TENPOUNDFIDDLE.org.
For all your concerts.
The web page is Kate Peterson. She's done a fabulous
great
job.
web. Yeah,
And
very well done.
It has a Fiddle Scout, link and a singing festival link. The singing festival information is singingfestival.com. We had Peter Euro coming up. Speaking of Black History Month, the Black Fathers of Folk Music, Leadbelly and Josh White. It's being done by Robert Jones and Josh White Jr., but when they get out of the car, they're Leadbelly and Josh White.
I'll bet.
So they're going to be in character Friday night, Unitarian Church. And information on this Friday night.
This Friday night?
So information on that is at
Oh.
10poundfiddle.org as well.
One of the first albums I bought was a $2 Leadbelly album. So yes, indeed. That
Well,
shows you how
Leadbelly's
long
going to
ago.
come. He'll be here.
Wow.
Yeah. They're doing this program a lot.
I'll
in
bet.
schools, and they are getting it down.
I'll bet that's...
And it will be one of those special evenings.
Well, don't forget this Friday night then for Leadbelly and Josh White, and then the following weekend for the Midwinter Singing Festival, and then coming up is going to be the Fiddle Scouts once a month, and then a special jamboree coming up. Sounds great.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Come back frequently. Keep us posted on all these events. There's a lot going on. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you to Sally Potter. And now